average annual value in the salary. Sorry, Kopitar just scored, so I'm a little distracted right now. Sorrow should have had that. But either way, no, Brady Tkachuk, overall, glad that they got it done, right? We talk about the Sens again. We've talked about it much at length this offseason about, again, maybe being a tougher organization to deal with in terms of finding a way to get things done with it not being a messy situation. It took a little bit longer. He's missed a couple of regular season games. Nobody wanted to see that, but at the end of the day, the deal's done. He's slated to make his season debut on Thursday night. So when it comes to Eugene Melnyk and Pierre Dorian, good piece of business right there.
Absolutely. And the money's not bad. Like, I saw a few people say, you know what, he hasn't even gotten 50 points in his career. And that's fair. Shortened seasons. But when he was a 19-year-old, he scored 21 goals. When he was a 20-year-old, he scored 21 goals on teams that weren't very good. He hasn't played with great players. I mean, he's Josh Norris now and Drake Batherson now.
Tim Stützle on the way.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll ever play with them because they're both left wingers right now. Stützle's moved to the left wing.
Power plays, though, they'll play.
Power play, exactly. So there's more young skill coming up around Brady Tkachuk. So I think his numbers will continue to progress and grow over his career. But he's the type of guy. He's a unicorn. There's not very many of these guys left in the league. He's a physical force. He can get in front of the net. He can get in the corners. He can be skilled at times. There's not many guys like that. The Tkachuk brothers are both kind of in that realm.
Captain material. You addressed
captain
it.
material.
It's perfect.
And at 8.2, I don't think that's going to kill them. The Senators are never going to be a cap team anyways.
Well, so I don't know, man. They got this unprecedented level of success that's
true.
On the way. So.
Even when they were a good team making the Stanley Cup Finals, they weren't the cap team. They didn't spend to the cap. So I'm not too worried about their cap situation. Just an update here. Our YouTube stream didn't go live until a minute and a half ago. So if you were looking for that, hopefully you can find it now because it's up now. It's
for people
going,
on YouTube, like and subscribe. Yeah, like and subscribe.
Exactly. Hit that subscribe button. We're inching towards 100. We need to get to 100, and then we can do a whole lot more with the channel. So
and then Clark, you know what happens after 100?
Unprecedented levels of success. Did I nail it?
Hey, nailed it. But I was going to say the next one, 200.
200. Then
200. Yeah. That's after 100.
How about 101? 101.
That sounds good too.
Derek Bona, Sheffy Bones says, Ottawa needed to do this. After years of shipping their stars out, they needed to show their fans some commitment. Not just their team, their fans.
We talked about that last week, right?
Exactly.
It was showing commitment not just to Brady Tkachuk, who, again, like you said, is the future possible leader of the team in terms of wearing a captaincy. They haven't had a captain, I don't believe, since Erik Karlsson.
It's been a while, yeah. Couple years.
It's been quite a while. Did they have one in the interim?
No.
Mark Mathot never wore a C for them or anything like that.
I don't think they named it. I don't think they had a pity captain.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was Karlsson.
It's been a while,
and then,
so
since
it's good
then,
to see
nothing.
the commitments there. That's for sure.
Yeah, Derek Bona is also just adding that. He says he's the new hybrid Brad Marchand, but he's got size. Brad Marchand doesn't have size, so that's the difference there. Myron's checking in, but is Tkachuk the guy you can build a franchise around? Is he that guy, pal? I think he is that guy, pal.
I look at Gabriel Landeskog as a really good comparable for Brady Tkachuk.
I love it.
To be quite honest.
Love it. No, I think that's it. And maybe he's not going to lead your team in points every year, but he's the guy who's going to set the tempo.
He's going to stir the drink.
Stir the drink. There you go.
He's going to be the straw that stirs the drink. If
Robin Wildy said Brady
one.
just wanted to make sure Parker Kelly was re-signed before he re-signed. Good call.
Yeah, great team
Good call.
Guy, right?
Former PA Raider.
Team guy first.
Exactly. Let's move on. Now I see we got a couple of comments here coming in about the Montreal Canadiens. Katie Fleury's mentioning it. Derek Bona's mentioning it as well. Adam Brooks. Adam Brooks is in the lineup for the Montreal Canadiens after being claimed on waivers. Now, again, I mentioned it. The Canadiens are getting stomped by the Sharks of all teams right now, 4-0. But he is on a line with Mike Hoffman and Brendan Gallagher. Not a bad welcome to the team, Max. Hoffman and Gallagher. Not a bad one. So looking forward to seeing him progress as a Montreal Canadian. And everyone, obviously he's wearing a Leafs jersey, so obviously there's that connection for me. I have his Leafs jersey, which is the other thing that people were kind of, checking in on me about, making sure I was okay. But overall for Brooksy, if he's playing on a third line with Hoffman and Gallagher full time, I'm happy for the kid. And I mentioned it last week, but he texted me because I sent out that video on TikTok of myself like being really sad and stuff that he got claimed. But I said to the kid, you know what? Montreal claimed you for a reason. There's a reason they need you on that roster. Go crush it because they're going to use you. And so far, like I said, he's in a decent spot. So looking forward to that. But the Canadiens overall, let's just talk about the Canadiens, Max. Struggling is an understatement, I think, right now. Yeah. They haven't won a game. I think this is their fourth game of the year now, and they're losing again to the Sharks, they're not going to be one of the better teams in the league this year, 4-0. So they're missing Carey Price, Shea Weber, Philip Deneau is gone, Kotkaniemi's gone. and there's a couple other pieces, moving parts. And you said it best, Max. Can you sum up what is going on with the Canadiens in your eyes?
Identity. It's clearly changed from their run to the Cup final. They're really
Right.
struggling to find that right now, right? They're trying to discern what kind of team that they are, what they were on the way to a magical run that resulted in coming up just a little bit short. But man, you're missing your captain. You're missing your all-world goaltender. You're missing 2 of your top 4 centers that, again, played a very large part in getting them to the Stanley Cup final last year. It's one of those situations where it's tough to see, because I know how that feels. In 2017, when the Predators made it there, all the expectations, and they found a way to match it. They came out and won the President's Trophy the next season. But when it comes to the Montreal Canadiens, that's just a lot of core pieces moving out, a lot of turnover in a very short a period of time, right? We talk about the Canadiens as this, okay, you know what? They're finding a way to build some good things there, right? The Nick Suzuki contract extension was a great piece of business. They're finding a way to inject some young talent into this group. Now, again, what do you do if you're Marc Bergevin? He's in the final year of his contract too, right?
Yes, he is.
And is it too early to talk about what's going to happen next year? I don't know, but it's 82 games. Again, we talked about it earlier. It's a little too early to write them off yet. But yeah, they're digging themselves a bit of an early season hole, and we talk about between the years, right? Maybe it's not, the sticks are being squeezed a little too tight. The fan base is already calling for heads. It's not the most patient of fan bases across the league. So
Well, and remember last year, Max, you'll remember this because we talked about it on the show, and it just was very apparent. Montreal fans going into the playoffs were calling for Ducharme to get fired. They were calling for Bergevin to get fired. Yeah. They wanted Carey Price out of town. They were calling for everybody's heads, and then they went on a run, and everyone was kind of satisfied.
The season was saved.
Yeah, and now we're seeing similar problems, and I think we're going to start seeing the calling for Ducharme again. We're going to start seeing calling for Bergevin again, not before too long. And it's just interesting how that all kind of
I got a
came
TikTok
back
idea
full
for you if
circle.
you want to be a little salty.
Okay. About the Habs?
Yeah.
Good, because the Habs,
leave it for you after the
Habs
show.
fans on TikTok love commenting.
I know, right? I got a good idea. It plays on what we were discussing before the show.
Speaking of winless teams, there are a few of them. Not necessarily that they haven't gotten any points, but winless in the fact that they haven't won a game yet. One of them is your Nashville Predators. Max, we don't have... It's early. Oh, look at this. Rolf put together a list of the team's logos. Thank you, Rolf. The Islanders, the Montreal Canadiens, Nashville, Winnipeg, surprisingly. We didn't see that coming necessarily. Chicago, Arizona, and the Calgary Flames.
Guys, I'd just like to point out, that's the old Arizona logo. Come on now. If we're going to do this, we're going to do it right, okay?
Hey, Rolf's doing his best back there.
Rolf, you're doing great. Why is the Nashville logo bigger than everybody else's? No, I'm just kidding.
Because they need to make sure that we know that they're better than
you
those
know
other
what?
6 teams,
I already called this year for what it is. This is going to be a competitive-ish year. Yes, the Nashville Predators are the answer to the trivia question. Who did the Seattle Kraken beat in their first ever NHL victory? Whatever. It had to be somebody. Is what it is. But yeah, I don't know. Like for a team like Nashville, I like what they're starting with. At the end of the day, it's a little bit tough to see guys like Cody Glass already relegated to the American Hockey League. Philip Tomasino's only checked into 1 game. It doesn't seem like it's, I guess, lived up to the billing of we're going to be developing at the NHL level this year. They're trying to win games early again. The season is certainly not lost. They're only playing their 3rd game tonight. Overall, though, I've enjoyed the brand of hockey that they've played. Outside of one really bad period against the Kraken, they were step for step with the Carolina Hurricanes. They lost that game 3-2. It was a tough one at the end there. But yeah, when it comes to the teams that are winless, again, this is where it's really hard to talk about because it is so early. Like look at the Winnipeg Jets, the New York Islanders. Like it's
how did it change? The Flames were on the left before. Now they're in the middle.
That graphics department back there, they're crushing.
They're moving things around, moving and shaking back there.
Yeah,
there's 2 teams that really surprised me, and again, it's
Chicago and Winnipeg.
Early. I was going to say the Islanders and Winnipeg.
Well, the Islanders and Winnipeg, yeah.
But Chicago's right in that conversation too.
With all the moves they made in the offseason.
Yeah, well, Chicago, yeah. You're talking about Chicago?
Chicago, yeah.
Yeah, Calgary's only played 2 games. They lost to the Oilers, and I guess they lost to the Ducks, which is a little surprising. But at the same time, the Ducks aren't terrible either. I feel like they're coming up. So
John Gibson, Trevor Zegras, Jamie Drysdale. There's some names there.
There's some names.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting conversation. Again, it is early, so it's fun to talk about now, but it all could change by tomorrow.
It's literally all going to change by next week when we talk about winless teams. So
let's get to the NFL. Week 6 was exciting. There was a lot of stuff going on. Let's look at some top performers from last week. The Cowboys had a couple. Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb had big games for the Cowboys as they beat the Patriots. Dak Prescott 445 yards along with 3 passing touchdowns, while CeeDee Lamb had 9 receptions for 149 yards.
Dem boys.
In a 35-29 win over the New England Patriots. Jonathan Taylor had a big week rushing for the Colts, 145 yards.
That didn't hurt my
with
feelings
2
with having him
touchdowns.
on one of my fantasy squads.
And you know what? It helped me out because I picked the Colts to beat the Texans, and they handled them pretty good.
There
So
you go.
we can switch the picture here, gents. Jonathan Taylor, again, 145 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Colts routed the Texans. Maybe we didn't have one for that. Derrick Henry ran roughshod over the Buffalo Bills. Now, this was a big one because it was a close game, 34-31. Henry ended up with 143 yards with 3 touchdowns on the day. Not bad for the Derrick Henry. And
Secured a fantasy win for me.
Oh, of course.
That's my king right there.
I saw a video
That's my dude.
from Anthony Bruno, who I think at one point we got to get on this show. Anthony Bruno, good dude. Former winner of Gillette Drafted on The Score, Max. Remember that show?
I do.
Jackie Redmond won it the one year. Anthony Bruno won it.
You know what? I was thinking about shows.
Yeah. Okay.
Remember Pros versus Joes?
Yes. Very cool.
Pros versus. But there's got to be a way to reignite that. I feel like.
Joe Rogan. Just get Joe Rogan involved. Wasn't he the host of that?
I don't think so.
No,
He was
maybe
Fear
not.
Factor.
I know, but I think he hosted like everything back. It wasn't on Spike TV. Didn't he just host every show that was on Spike?
Maybe. I don't know. Could have been.
Either
But
way,
Pros
that was
versus
a pretty
Joes
good
was
show.
excellent television.
Pretty cool show. So yeah, Derrick Henry, big day. Aaron Rodgers. Now this one is it's interesting, and I want to hear your thoughts on this if you're watching. Aaron Rodgers says he goes out into the Chicago Bears stadium, beats them, and then says, "I still own you guys." So there's a little bit of chirping factor to this. Maybe some people look at this as maybe no class, but at the same time, it's pretty badass. Max, what do you have to say about Aaron Rodgers owning the Bears?
He's not wrong. He's 22-5 against them in his career.
22
It's a
wins.
division battle. It's I look at the Chicago Bears and Green Bay Packers, and we talked about it. We made a meme about it. Graphics department was all over it this weekend.
Yep.
But I look at the Chicago Bears and Green Bay Packers as the Saskatchewan Roughriders and Calgary Stampeders of the NFL to a certain degree, right? These two teams have the longest history in the NFL, and since Aaron Rodgers has been in Green Bay, man, it's just been pure domination. And when it comes to, I don't know if you saw the post-game interview, but it was, he termed it, sometimes you just black out on the field in a good way. He saw a lady in the front row and some Chicago Bears deep navy and orange giving him the double bird, and some words just came out. And you know what? This is what makes the NFL the show and the spectacle that it is.
Yeah.
This is where it comes to, again, like just, it's awesome to watch. And when you see Aaron Rodgers go out and do what he does on a weekly basis, yeah, we talked about it, right? Talk about early reactions and overreaction Monday. I told you weeks ago, Clark, the Green Bay Packers have figured it out since that week 1 loss. They're 5-0 since then. And against the Chicago Bears, man, it's just been, again, ownership. It's kind of ironic, right? We talk about the Green Bay Packers being the only community-owned team in the entire NFL. Well, Aaron Rodgers certainly has some stock in the Chicago Bears, and by way of victories in his career. So.
Adam Schultz says, I had CeeDee Lamb on my bench in fantasy, too.
Schultzy.
Dang it. Not good. Myron saying, Clark and Max, how are your fantasy teams doing? I'm assuming he's talking football. My team is 3-3. I had a rough week. I came up against Allen, the former Allen, the intern.
Allen, the intern.
He crushed me this week.
Yeah.
He had like 150 or something points. Just crushed me. Yeah. I don't know. What are you? You're in a couple leagues, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I'm in a couple leagues. Yeah, much like my Rams in one league, I'm 5-1, feeling good.
I got off to a hot
Henry.
start, and then just I can't seem to
King
put a
Henry,
good week
Matt
together.
Stafford, Darrell Henderson leading the way for me in that league. And then in another league, I've got the 4th most points, but I'm in like 3rd last place. So it's just one of those things about fantasy football. 2-4 in that league. Had a big week this week. I think I led the league in scoring this week. But yeah, no, it's an interesting squad. I got Matty Stafford again as my quarterback because, you know, Staff Daddy's just balling this year. So yeah, no, it's been an interesting start to the fantasy football season. I've made a trade offer to another owner to upgrade my wide receiver corps. So
I've sent a few trade offers. Nobody's biting this year. It just seems like there is no movement happening.
Again, it's still early.
And my team, I think we've talked about this when Andy McNamara was on, but I have Christian McCaffrey on my team, and of course he's been hurt. And when your number 1 overall pick is hurt, always hurts the overall.
I think next year it kind of becomes the conversation of maybe Christian's just not the guy at the top purely because of his injury history. And then watch this.
When he hits,
watch this. He'll slide to 6th or 7th overall and be the overall league.
But then when he's healthy, he gets 35 points a week because he's just that good.
Well, Derrick Henry is the fantasy cheat code this year. Derrick Henry
and he went like 4th overall in my league. So it's
I picked him up in the auction draft. I paid a hefty price for him, and it's well worth it.
Yeah, it happens.
Well worth it.
Let's move on to the NBA now, because there is one topic that we've talked about a few times, but it just keeps coming up. Ben Simmons with this Philadelphia 76ers. I don't get it. I just don't get it with this guy. He decides, hey, you know what? We had a really weird offseason, but I'll come back. I'll practice. I'll play with the team or whatever. I'll do it. He comes back and then refuses to participate in drills at practice. And he's now been suspended by the 76ers for one game for, I think it was conduct detrimental to the team or something.
It's always a fun title to put,
Yeah, not great. Doesn't look good on the resume.
No.
But Joel Embiid wins the day. He's had a very rocky road with Ben Simmons, and obviously with 2 stars on a basketball team, you're usually kind of tied at the hip. And Joel Embiid comes out and says today, I do not care about that guy. Pretty serious.
Yep.
And he also came out and said,
not great for team chemistry.
My job here is not to be a babysitter. Not good. Now, from what I've heard,
he's not wrong, though.
He's not wrong. All the reports essentially are that Ben Simmons is kind of a diva. He's been babied his whole life. He's been coddled, so to speak. So, I mean, at this point, Max, there was a viral tweet today from Sid Sixero, like, it's not a great day for Ben Simmons, but I'd still take him on the Raptors if they traded Pascal Siakam. Would you? Like, at this point, how does Philly even... How can they even trade this guy? Who's looking at all this and say, I want that guy on my team?
See, and that's the thing about the NBA, though. We did talk about it a little bit pre-show, right, where it's a bit of a different league, right? There's a reason why it's got the reputation of this league, and not saying that in an ignorant way. It's a very fun league to follow with some of the transactions that occur. But when it comes to Ben Simmons in this situation, it's tough to equate to every other sport because it's not quite the same, right? You can do a lot to erode your reputation. You can blow up at practice. You can kind of be a bit of a prima donna and still find a way to net decent trade value. Because for whatever reason, it's just the way that it is with that league. So I still look at it. There's probably some suitors out there for Ben Simmons, but again, they're just going to wait until that price is driven to something that the 76ers can stomach. And for Ben Simmons as a whole, again, he clearly needs a change of scenery, right? It's one of those things where you say everything's good when you're 2,000 miles away in your beach house in the offseason. Then when you get to practice, all the emotions get there. All of a sudden, all the guys start looking at you a little bit different. And then the emotions get involved, right? So I don't know. When it comes to the other side of the curtain here for Ben Simmons, we'll see what happens. I don't know, though. That's
like you
hard
said,
to gauge.
It is basketball, and this guy is still a 6'10" point guard who's one of the best passers in the game. He's a great defender.
Not a great shooter, though.
Not a great shooter, but he's still going to be a guy who can be an all-star at almost anywhere he goes just because of his position and how he plays.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure there's going to be a team out there that says, yeah, no, we'll still take this guy. Moving on, and it's our last topic.
Maybe 3 first-round picks instead of 5.
Right. It's our last topic before we hit a break because I've heard rumors that Cameron Hughes is logged in and ready to roll after the break. But I want to just mention this because Jamie Anstey's blowing up our comment wall from Halifax, Nova Scotia. He says, the Buffalo Sabres are 3-0. They won tonight. They beat the Vancouver Canucks 5-2. And my comment to that is, imagine how good they'd be if they had Jack Eichel in their roster. Just imagine how good they'd be.
Oh, man.
Just when he gets back, they're going to be a whole new level of good, those Buffalo Sabres.
Just hockey, man, it is the hardest sport to bet on in the entire world.
Yeah.
Like, there's just nothing that you could say that explains away how they have a 3-0 start. It's not like they've had an easy competition either to start the season.
Good teams.
3-0. It's teams that are expected to beat them, that's for sure.
And they literally dumped everybody of value, and they don't have their captain/best player on the roster. It's crazy. Anyways, we're gonna hit a break because when we come back, we're gonna. Wow, how am I gonna sell this? We're going to hype you up more than you've ever been. We're gonna make you want to run through a wall.
Yes, a brick wall.
A brick wall.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend that, by the way.
Sorry, we're not condoning it.
No.
We're just saying, like, our next interview.
You're gonna want to.
Yeah, there might be feelings conducive to that.
Yes. Anyways, when we come back, Cameron Hughes is with us on the SquadCast. See you in 2.5 minutes.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Peterson Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Peterson Show today.
Everyday hoop life.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. IKS Live, the proud producer of The Rod Peterson Show and The Recovery Hour. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com. And we're back in the studio. That song, Max, every time gets me going. And I know our next guest is just probably like head bobbing over at his living room or wherever he's joining us from tonight. But we are bringing in the king of cheer, everybody. The king. Not the prince, not the duke, not the earl, the king of cheer.
You know your royal family card.
And this is a guy that honestly he's on my list forever, and it's been such a weird couple of months for this guy, and I've been wanting to get him on, and he so gratefully is joining us tonight. He has more giddy up than a buck and bronco, Max, this guy.
I like it.
He's got moves like Jagger. Ladies and gentlemen, Cameron Hughes joins us tonight. Cameron Hughes, thank you for hanging out with us tonight.
You guys don't want to hear me. You don't have to hear me. It's okay.
No.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear us.
But I can see you, and you look fantastic.
Interesting.
Speaking of fantastic, look at that.
Oh,
Look at that.
look at this.
Oh, wow. Look at
All
that
dressed up for you
collection
guys.
of stuff.
The boys,
I can't hear you.
The boys in the back will fix this. They are usually pretty good at this. So you let us know, Cameron, as soon as you can hear us, and we'll
I hope
get
I
to
didn't.
you.
Is it because of COVID? Because should I wear a mask?
Maybe.
Like honestly, my career's like awful as it is. You know, nobody wants to hear me now. Nobody wants to see me cheer. Nobody wants me to dance for them. Nobody wants me to put my face on their T-shirts.
Oh,
we're gonna
look
do
at
the
this.
first interview in the history of TV where I can't hear what you're asking, but I'll guess what you're asking.
Guess. I like it.
That'll
He's
be
gonna
fun.
guess. Yeah,
So
this
we'll
will
do
be
that.
good.
Yeah.
So
So
we'll do
you want to talk about my new book?
Yes.
Okay. You want to talk about the jerseys I'm wearing?
Yes, all of
I'm
it.
from Ottawa. I didn't know what to wear tonight, guys. I mean, the Wild are playing,
That's
bit
good.
of all of it. I love it.
but we probably have a lot of Jets fans, so I got my Jets jersey up there,
There
somewhere.
it is. Jordan, where are we
You know
at?
what I'm
What's
saying?
going on with the situation here?
I can't hear you, but I can feel you.
Okay, Cameron.
Look at that little gold.
We're gonna come back to you. Stay there. We're gonna come back. I think by the sounds of it, they might have to do a bit of a restart.
Bit of a restart.
Jordan,
okay?
is that the case? Yes. Okay. So they're going to do that. Me and Max will just ramble
Please
here
stand by for technical
until we can
difficulties.
get that. I'll
we'll get
text
there.
Max. You take over for a sec. I'm going to text Cameron and just say.
Well, certainly. I don't know how I'm going to follow that because I mean, at the end of the day,
that was
right,
so good, and he didn't even know what we were saying.
I know, right? And you know what, though? It's just amazing, though. I'm very excited for this interview. Obviously, it's when it comes to the, like, we preambled it before the get-go. It's wanting to run through a brick wall. You can already tell the entertainment factor is already there, right? If anybody has been in an arena with this man and his performance, they're going to know exactly why he does what he does and why he is the right man for the job that he has. A very unique profession, by the way. I don't believe there is a union of professional sports fans out there, but if there is, I'm sure we'll find out about it from the description of his book. But when it comes to Cameron Hughes, I'm certainly excited to get things going when the time is right.
Stories of showing up, getting up, and never giving up from the world's most electrifying crowd igniter. And it's signed. It's actually my copy.
Man, you got so many cool autographs.
It says, Clark, thanks for the awesome tan? No, I have to remember what happened because he gave this to me about a year ago. I'm trying to think of what the tan was. But he says, let's go Sask. So anyways, we're going to get him on as soon as possible. But I guess we'll just read some of the viewer comments here, Max, as we kind of scramble to get back. Myron says, hey, I'm not the only one that had audio issues on their appearance on the SquadCast. Myron, again, he could hear us. So we had the opposite thing. He could hear us. We couldn't hear him.
Right.
But now, Cameron, can you hear us now?
I can hear you.
There we go.
We got her figured.
So
Technology.
you missed my great introduction of you. I was calling you a buck and bronco, and I said you were Mick Jagger, and and you missed it. But I can redo it if you want. But overall, we got you now.
Well,
so how are you?
I'm doing great. I felt it, though. I came in the end, but you didn't know I was here. So I got the nice intro. I agree with you. I need to slow down when I sign the books. But the heart and passion was there. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think it says thanks for the awesome tan. But at the same time, I don't know when I would have given you a tan.
Thanks for being awesome, man. I mean,
Maybe
how do you not get that out
Man,
of me?
come on.
Let's go with that. Let's go with that. Cameron, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, it's an exciting time for you and we're going to get into that in just a minute because, I mean, things are happening again after, I'll say a bit of a slow time in the industry. Things are happening again, so it's exciting. But Cameron, you have a book out now. It's called King of Cheer, and I just want to make sure we mention this because it's pretty cool to have a book out about yourself, I would think. How has your life changed since this bad boy has come out?
Well, what's interesting. No one's actually ever asked that specific question.
Really?
How has it changed? It's a really thoughtful question, and I'm not being a smartass. I appreciate that. A, you hear from people you haven't heard from in a long time. B, you hear from different people in different industries that are like, hey, I read your book. I saw you at an event. Would you be interested in this opportunity? Like things that you never thought were going to ever happen, some cool, whether it's a cool speaking event or marketing event, or would you like to invite you to this event or party? But ultimately, guys, I think for me, it's like this great, I don't know how much longer I'm going to do this. I'm not saying I'm retiring. I'm not saying I'm done, but it's a great way to have that chapter of my life kind of like, in print to share with people and just be open and vulnerable about it all right now. And in a way, not care as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It's kind of here.
Yeah.
Here it is.
So,
you know what I mean?
So Cameron, for the viewers out here who might not know exactly what you do, I mean, if you look at the picture on the cover of his book, he's yelling at people.
Hell of a cover.
He yells at people. Cameron, can you kind of explain what you do?
I don't know if I can. I mean, I go in the crowd, I stand up, I wear a jersey from the team. Like, let's say tonight, the Wild are opening against the Jets, okay? Under 14 minutes, I'll be in the crowd, fans will be in the crowd, there'll be some people who go to the bathroom, get their beers, and then the Jumbotron, it'll be me, and I'm like, oh, there I am, and I jump up, and I start to dance. I rip off a party shirt, I throw on the Wild jersey, and I take the T-shirts, and I twirl the T-shirts, and get the crowd going. And, ultimately, for me, it's like, I think, why do they bring me in? Which is, in my book, it's like to be that extra spark. If you're losing in Montreal tonight, at least we can have fun, right?
Ooh, yes. Yeah, Montreal needs a spark, Cameron. You need to get in touch with Marc Bergevin and get you out to Montreal.
Yeah, that'll happen. Yeah, I got a story about every team. So I did the Montreal Canadiens once, like forever ago. They're playing the Leafs, and I ran into a lot of friends who used to be Leaf fans, and they were pissed off at me, but that's besides the point. They lose, and they never bring me back.
Oh, so they blamed it on you?
Well, Montreal is very superstitious, as you
It's
probably
true.
know, with their hockey history, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Max, I think you had one you want to get into.
Well,
here.
you know what, Cameron? I was going to save this a little bit for later in the interview, but we just talk about superstitious, right? And I mean, we know that obviously players, professional athletes, they might not be completely superstitious, but maybe a little stitious with their game day routines. I want to know what, from a performer standpoint, from your art, is there a specific Cameron Hughes King of Cheer game day routine that you abide by?
You know, there didn't used to be. I was just kind of all over the place. And then I realized, like, I need to save my energy. So if the team wants me to come meet, or if anyone wants to meet between, like, 3:30 and 5, I'm like, no, I have meetings during then, which is really another way of saying I'm taking a nap.
Yeah.
You know, and it's fair, though. You know, you have to conserve your energy. You know, I do this thing where I'll never forget this, because, you know, Saskatchewan roots that I have. I'm in Sasktel Center doing the World Juniors, and I would run around the lower part of the arena, and everyone would be like, what's he doing? And it was part of my warm-up routine. And I knew people were watching, and I didn't care. So I'd stretch, and I'd do weird, like, mirror stuff, and they're like, oh, my God. So, I mean, I do anything to get myself truly in the right state, because you're putting yourself out there in front of 5,000, 20, 30, 50,000 people. So you want to be in the best, you know, state of mind possible.
For sure. And I mean, obviously it's been kind of a last strange 18, 16, whatever months that we're at now. It just kind of seems like a never ending loop. I'm sure you probably feel the same. But what has, I guess, been the adaptability like over the course of the last 16 to 18 months for you? Obviously a book release, but just in this new world that we're living in with your unique profession, what have you been kind of doing just in terms of a pivot in this strange time for yourself, Cameron?
Yeah, well, when it first kind of happened, everything got wiped out. So you had a sense of, I can't control this. So, you know, in the old days, if I would be back from a road trip and not have any gigs, I'd be kind of like, I used to call it cheer oppression, where you're like, go from the high to the low, and then you'd be like, come on, I want to get out there again. It just forced me to be creative. So I was starting to make wacky videos. I'd post them, and then companies would hire me to do Zoom crashes. Companies would hire me to come and do, like, tell stories, and I'd do school talks. I'd do, like, weird, like, videos for people, like, you know, it's your birthday, I'll do a video. I just did them, you know? But I said yes to things, which was almost everything within reason, you know? And you never knew where it would lead, and nor did I have expectations on where it should go. But it led to some really cool things happening and meeting a lot of interesting people. So, and yes, you know, and I appreciate you saying that. I hadn't finished my book, and it was a great way to say, hey, like, we didn't know when we were going to come out of this, but you better have accomplished something. And so having finished the book and launching it during the pandemic was, you know, a big victory.
Absolutely. So in the book, I know you have a lot on how you got started and all that kind of stuff in Ottawa, of course. And you did a lot of junior hockey, if I'm not mistaken. You got your, you know, cut your jib, I guess you want to call it, in junior hockey. But I've always been curious about this. Now, how has your hiring process changed throughout the years? Because I'm assuming early on, I mean, it's not a conventional industry necessarily. So, I mean, you can't just, like, you didn't have an agent probably early on, and you probably had varying rates for different places. How has it changed over the years to what you kind of deal with now?
Well, that's like, it's an interesting point, because when I first started, when I first did the Senators, where's the jersey? I think I have it here. This is the jersey they paid me the first year.
Right.
And look at that, they're bringing this logo back, you know, like I got Yashin on here and Daigle. They didn't pay me the first year. And then the next year they gave me a bit of money. And then I remember saying I should get this amount per game. And a bunch of people laughed at me, and they're like, you're never going to make that. And I ended up years later coming back and being on the sidelines at a game going, I think it worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was such a cool moment, by the way. It wasn't about, look at me, I'm trying to prove you wrong. It was just more like, having value in what you do, right? I mean, ultimately. But, you know, it's really been, I don't know if I dove into it enough in my book, but I think I did it a bit. It's like, how do you price anything of, you know, unless it's a good, you know what I mean? It's like, it's hard. So at a time in the last, before the pandemic, it was usually set in stone, not kind of really negotiable. But then it'd be like, hey, I'm going to be in Red Deer. I'll come up to Calgary or Edmonton, so I don't have to pay for flights. So things like that would work out. But also in the early days, I would just be like, yeah, what do you got? You know what I mean? And then there's a certain point where, you know, I mean, Singapore called me and I'm like, well, that's pretty far to go. I gave my rate and I'm like, I don't think they're going to take it. And they did, because they could see the value in it.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And you know what, Cameron? They say that obviously if you love what you do, you never truly work a day in your life. Can you say honestly, as a professional fan, that you've probably kind of achieved that statement or lived up to that statement when it comes to your profession as a whole?
I think so. Like, I would say that 100%, dude, like up until March 12th of last year.
Of course.
And it also was, you know, look, I don't want to go through the COVID thing for all of us, but I do think a lot of us probably had a lot of victories as much as it has sucked. You know, and I did the Vegas game on June 4th of this year. And I remember, like, I had a gas mask on and a hazmat suit. And that, when I look at that video, it was one of the most beautiful, profound, I can probably get emotional thinking about it, videos of my career. And I'll tell you why, because it wasn't about me. All the reactions to fans were, we're back, we can connect, we can have fun again, which is why we went to sporting events in the first place, right? To be part of a community, to be part of this, something bigger than all of us. So that night was like this moment where it's like, rip it off. And then now it's like, oh, shoot, put the mask back on. We'll be back after these messages, right? But yeah, I think it's a great statement. I think I've worked on working in the last year and a half, which I didn't really know how to do before, if that makes sense, you know?
Absolutely. So you mentioned Vegas, and I wouldn't say that it's necessarily your hometown gig, but you've kind of found a bit of a niche. You know, Vegas, they love you there.
I had to, you know what I mean?
I mean, you were,
What a great jersey
I just
to
saw you did a feature. Was it Sports? Who did a feature with you just the other day? A video feature.
Sportsnet, yeah.
Sportsnet did a feature. So, I mean, you're kind of, you know, associated with Vegas, so to speak now, which isn't a bad thing at all. But have you found a bit of a soft spot for Vegas in your heart, or do you find it hard now at this point in your career to stay impartial? Because you truly, in your industry, like with what you do, impartiality is probably one of the most important things, so to speak.
You know, it's funny. I'm going to come back to your question about my book. Like, what did it do? It's like this is everything now. I've never hidden that I do this for other teams, right?
Right.
So when I did Vegas, I told the fans, I've been doing this for 20 years before we met, you know? So had all the players, so had all the executives that came from different teams. I was upfront with them, and they kind of celebrated it with me. You know, I've been doing this, guys. Look at all the jerseys. I've been doing this before. And I wasn't hiding it. I've never hidden it. But it's so funny you say that, because I have some friends that work with the Minnesota Wild and on every level, and they have their home opener tonight. I texted 3 of them. Good luck. Can't wait to see you soon. Oilers played the other night. I texted some friends in Edmonton, Ottawa. You know, like, I've built these amazing relationships with people, and the stronger those relationships, the more you care, right? The better. Like, when I go to Minnesota, they like look after me so well. And when I go to Vegas, like, I had this crazy story when I was there recently. I had fans who I met at the games, like, have me over for dinner, and I'm doing my laundry at their house. You know what I mean? By the way, of course, they were Canadian.
Of course, they have to be.
And you know what? I guess I just want to piggyback off of Clark's question there real quick for you there, Cameron. It's obviously tied in with Sportsnet, doing a video feature. Again, maybe a little bit of allegiance to Vegas, obviously. So can you give us any insight as to where Jack Eichel's situation is at in terms of if he's coming that way or not?
Is he going to Vegas?
You got to be our insider now, too. It's not enough to be the professional fan. You got to be the insider as well.
You've probably been to Buffalo. You probably know.
I don't know.
That is a crazy situation in itself.
You know what? I hope not. And I'll tell you why. I think they've got good chemistry if they're all healthy. And I don't think they need a guy like that, to be fair. I mean, I don't know. I'm no hockey expert. You know, I couldn't even make my intramural team in university. So, I mean,
Well, Jack Eichel's dealing with one of the most unique neck injuries, at least recently.
I've heard of that.
And
yes.
now where I'm going to segue this into you is that I know for a fact that you've accumulated a few injuries in your career. It's a bit of a physically engaging job, I'd say. So Cameron, I know didn't you recently hurt your ankle not that long ago? It was a leg
what
injury.
you want to ask me is, am I icing anything on my body right now?
Currently, yes. Yeah. Are you sitting in an ice bath?
Are you
currently?
on the IL, Cameron?
Are you okay?
Exactly.
We care for you, Cameron. We want to make sure you're okay.
I mean, let's just so. I don't mind sharing this, but at the end of May, I did a game, a minor league baseball game, in the middle of nowhere. I don't know where I was, and it was pure concrete, like the oldest like stadium I've ever been to. And that night, I got on I couldn't feel my other foot. My Achilles was smashed.
Ooh.
And 4 days later, I had to perform in Vegas. And the trainer for the Golden Knights taped my ankles and my Achilles. And he's like, "You'll be okay. Don't worry."
You're a playoff warrior. See, that's what the hockey players all battle through, punctured lungs and everything. Same boat for you, I guess you could say. What are some of the crazy injuries you've gotten, though, over your...
there's two that pop, well, there's three that pop into my mind. I'll tell you as quickly as possible. ECHL finals, South Carolina. I get up and perform. I fall down the stairs. The 10,000 people think it's part of the act. And I'm like, shit, guys, I can't get up.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Oh, no, my ankle.
And
it's broken.
as a dumbass Canadian, I'm like, not only did I want to get my paycheck, I didn't even think about the paycheck. I was like, I got to come out for the third period. So the trainer tapes my ankle with like ice like this. And I'm on crutches. I'm getting the wave going, and I'm in the Zamboni tunnel getting the fans going. And then I came back 3 days later, which was so stupid, but whatever. They won. San Jose All-Star Game, 1996. I was about to pass out in the lobby of the hotel. Janet Gretzky saw me, called an ambulance.
Wow.
Next thing I know, I'm on the way to the hospital because I was dehydrated. And then the third one, which was pretty funny too, was I sprained MCL right in front of Mark Cuban. I fell in front of him at the NBA Finals. It was New Orleans against Dallas, and I didn't know I'd hurt myself. And I still feel that knee. That was a dumb one.
Wow, that is something else. A couple of name drops there too. Nice, good name. That's great name drops.
Janet Gretzky,
Mark Cuban.
She's married to somebody that we probably know.
Yeah, somebody.
Are we segueing into the 2002 story?
Oh yes, we are. Yes.
So Craig would ask me about 2002 when I was at the Olympics, and I was performing, and then the Salt Lake City organizing committee asked me to stop cheering for Canada, and they didn't want me to come to the final gold medal game until my friend from 1996, Janet Gretzky, saw me at the hotel and said, "Hey, I'll see you tomorrow." And I go, "Actually, Janet, they banned me." And she's like, "That's BS. I'll call Wayne." The next morning, I roll down. We get on a bus, and the Gretzky family took me to the gold medal game. She gave me the ticket, said, "Cheer hard for Canada. Good luck."
She said, "That's BS. Here, have a bottle of water. I don't want you to pass out again, Cameron." That's what she said to you.
She actually said, "Thank you for giving my kids T-shirts at every game. Why don't you come with us now?"
Well, there you go. That's perfect.
That's fantastic.
That's perfect. So, Cameron, you've done a few cool events. You just said that the Olympics. You've been overseas. What is on a bucket list for Cameron Hughes at this point? Like, there's got to be something you haven't been to yet that you're dying to get to.
There's the first one would be a Super Bowl, because I could prove to a lot of people that said I couldn't do it, that I could definitely do it with the right setup where they set me up in the crowd. But doing that at a huge stadium would be incredible. I want to go to like Spain or, a country in like Africa or somewhere where they don't like just so out of left field that this would ever happen, where I don't know their language, like a baseball game in Japan. That would be like awesome.
Yeah, Japan, Korea, they all have like crazy games too, from what I've seen. Like, it's crazy there.
Electric atmospheres.
Yeah.
I'm going over to Singapore. Well, I've been to Singapore to do the rugby, but it's very, it's English there. But the fans are from all around the world. So that was like that. And I've done hockey and rugby in Europe, which was different. But I want to go like next level where they actually probably couldn't understand me other than the physical aspect of, getting the crowd going.
Dancing and crowd pumping up is a universal language, I would say, Cameron. Director Jordan, can you?
You get a date at a bar. Let's be honest,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Director Jordan, can you go back to Cameron's full shot here for a sec? We have a question from a viewer, Cameron. Robin in Prince Albert asks, "Is that a Cardiff Devils jersey over your shoulder on the wall?"
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Look at that. Robin's picking out the Cardiff Devils.
Good eye.
Look at this one too. Hold on.
Oh yeah, bring it up.
Look at this one. Belfast Giants.
Belfast Giants. There it is. So,
Right.
do you have any stories of the British Hockey League that you can tell us?
Well, when I first went to Belfast, the guy with the GM was the GM of the from Calgary, and he'd heard about me or seen me or something. And there were like bomb threats and bombings going off in Belfast at the time, not at like the level it used to be. But I landed, and I'm like, dude, what am I doing here? You know, but the color of the jersey is teal, so it's neutral. So the whole idea behind the Belfast Giants was to have fans of, you know, every religion and background come together. So the game ended up being fun and got to know the players and stuff. And then I went to Cardiff and got to know them. I'm leading to this story where the EIHL finals weekend is where the 8 teams go and all the fans come. It's this pretty cool concept where fans, no matter what, even if your team isn't that good or in the playoffs, they come and they celebrate it. Well, word got out that I was coming, and it was the tagline was North American atmosphere creator coming to EIHL finals. Like, it was like all wrong, right? It should never have been a story. Well, Twitter canceled me.
Oh no!
They're like, we don't want that idiot coming over here. We don't need a North American coming here to tell us to have fun. We have a great atmosphere. It went on. I got death threats. If he comes near us, we're going to throw him over the ledge. Long story short, I didn't go.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I feel like British death threats are on another level for some reason, or like Scottish, or like, you know.
Well, we've all seen Peaky Blinders.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
That's what I mean.
maybe
Like, it's a different level over there.
Well, when you see like a couple of those texts, like I you know, some of them are in the book and they're pretty funny. But then there was a lot of positive from the Cardiff and Belfast fans. But it was pretty like, it was the first time in my career, other than getting a few death threats from New Jersey Devils fans, but whatever, where I'd had that kind of negative reaction. I hadn't even performed yet.
Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, you know, you guys know this, but like, if I'm doing a game tomorrow for Vegas or Cardiff or Halifax, Minnesota, Victoria, wherever it is, they never promote that I'm going to be there. I just get up and do it, right? I think that's why it works.
Well, that's kind of part of it too. Like, you're some unsuspecting person in the crowd, and
It's
look,
the spontaneity
I'm
of it,
gonna, yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. It's so
100%.
good.
Yeah, and you know what, Cameron? Obviously, we've had some fun with your jersey wall tonight, and I guess this is my question. Obviously, with all of the
They're called the Brandon Wheat Kings, by the way.
Brandon
That's what
Wheat
you're asking.
Kings,
That's
yeah,
a good one.
there it is.
I like that jersey.
Kelly
That's
McCrimmon
I'm
must.
going there too, by the way.
Oh yeah,
perfect.
the Kelly McCrimmon ties are still strong with you, hey?
Oh yeah, Kelly.
When
I'm paying for his next holiday.
when it comes to your jersey wall there, Cameron, I guess obviously a man that's been to as many arenas as you've been, I guess sports memorabilia in general, because I'm a bit of a mem nut. Do you have a piece or maybe a couple of pieces that you've added to your collection throughout the years that maybe have a standout memory associated with them that would be the one? Outside of a ticket from Janet Gretzky to 2002.
Right.
Or
I don't
maybe
know about actual jersey, but I'll show you something.
Mm-hmm.
This is my demo tape.
Oh no way!
That's
when does that
awesome.
get
Yeah,
released?
The date from guy, demo reel, length 1 minute. If I told you guys the date, you'll fall out of your chairs.
It's pretty hard to follow it.
July 6, 1996.
1996.
Wow.
I was going to say it's pretty hard to fall out of these chairs. They're pretty secure.
That's incredible, though.
That's
I
unbelievable.
mean, this is like, I can't wait. I think I know what's in here, but I got to get that done. But to answer your question, I mean, and I'll just go there. I'll be like, it's like I look at the wall and I look at like Stockton Thunder, Red Deer Rebels, Arizona Sundogs, Wenatchee, the Roadrunners. Every jersey I look at, like, not everyone right away, but like there's a memory that comes back. The Idaho Steelheads, I ripped my jeans open and had to duct tape them so I could finish the game. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what this team. Oh, this one.
Oh yeah.
What are they? The Phoenix Roadrunners. Like, there's always like there's just a story behind it. Like Minnesota Wild, I'll tell you a quick story because they're playing tonight.
Yeah.
I do a game there 7 years ago, I think it was 6 or 7. They brought me in, and like a lot of teams, they're not sure at first how it's going to work, right? And I get that. Your fans' reaction, the game, the score might be minus 100 out. You never know, right? All those elements. So I do the game in Minnesota. I go to the bar after, next to XL Energy. I'm talking to a bunch of executives, and they're critiquing like, oh, we thought you were great tonight. It was a lot of fun to have you. And then a couple of people shuffle around. I'm talking to this guy, and he's like telling me what he thought of my performance and my timing. And I'm like, oh, thanks. I'm like, are you involved in the team? He's like, yeah, I work with the team. I'm like, oh, how? And he's like, oh, I own it.
Oh, wow.
Right. All right.
So were you critiquing him of his ownership skills?
Craig Leopold from the Nashville Predators, formerly anyways.
Right, yeah.
So I know the tie in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
You're like, yeah, maybe you should own the team better next time, too, if he was critiquing you.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Hey, now, he's a wonderful owner. But anyhow,
exactly.
like, just all these different stories come to life for me when I, Royals and, I don't know, Buffalo Sabres, speaking of which.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's an iconic one.
Seymour Knox called me after the scoreboard fell in Buffalo, and I was doing the Leafs at the time. He was at a game, and he saw me, and he called me. I'm living in a buddy's house. I get out of the shower. He goes, Seymour Knox called. I'm like, what? He's like, no, seriously. And he goes, oh, yeah, I told him to trade LaFontaine. I'm like, oh, no, tell me you didn't.
Oh, my God.
I called Seymour Knox back the 4th. They owned the team. He was, I don't know, I guess he had nothing else to do. Nicest guy in the world. And he sends me to Buffalo to do a game because the Marine Midland scoreboard had fallen. And I ended up doing 10 games in a row, and they won 10 in a row.
Well, there you go.
That's
you need to go back.
unbelievable.
So, that's a hell of a long answer, though, isn't it?
Nothing wrong with that, Cameron. It's been incredible.
Robin from Prince Albert says, well, your bucket list now has to include a Prince Albert Raiders playoff game at the Art Hauser Center in Prince Albert. How have you never been to the Art Hauser in Prince Albert?
Well, to be fair, I talked to them this week, which is so funny you mentioned that because I told you, Clark, that I was looking to do this big Canadian tour. But, let me ask you guys this while we're on this topic. What do you think of me still doing my shtick with a mask on? Does it matter at this point?
Is it going to be a designer mask or is it going to be like a hospital mask? Because I think there's a difference.
I was going to say.
Yeah, if you have like the team branded mask, I think that'd be totally fine.
I think there'd be nothing wrong with that person. I think you'd be one of the fans.
One of the fans. You know what you could do though, Cameron? You could get one of those masks with your own face designed on it with a big wide open mouth so that it looks like you're still making the same. Yeah, exactly. Just get your face printed on just your mouth.
Exactly.
And then you're good to go.
Less work for the face too. The jaw's probably.
You know what you could do, Cameron? Now here's an idea.
We're turning this into a marketing meeting,
royalty free.
This is where we're at.
I don't need any checks from this. Have a hospital mask, like an N95 or whatever they call them, over top of the mask that has your face printed on it, and rip off the masks just like you rip off the shirts.
Done. Sold.
Boom.
I don't know. I feel pretty good about it.
Get him in production.
Because there's been a lot of teams that want to have me, but they're like, well, we'll wait for the mask thing to go. And I'm like, you know what? I'm at the point now where I just want to come and get the fans having a little more fun. Because I've been watching the games, especially in Canada, and let's be fair, and I'm not going to rip into Canadian fans unless you ask me to. I get it. Like, it's not easy. It's not fun to be, like, sitting there watching a game, but they were kind of like that before. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Without
Absolutely.
a doubt.
Yeah. I know the Leafs fans the other night got ripped at their home opener for being a little bit on the quiet side, and I'm like, yeah, well, were they really that loud before? Were they really that loud before? Only when Cameron was at the games.
NHL fan base, and in your opinion?
Ooh, that's a great question.
One of the Alberta teams. Well, Montreal. Montreal's pretty nuts, but they stopped inviting Cameron, so therefore I'm not.
The best fan base. I don't know, man. And again, this not to say this to lead into the bias, but
let me say this. When I say best, I mean we could argue like who buys the most jerseys and supported the team. I'm talking about shows up and supports their team when that clock hits 1959.
Your boys Vegas.
Well, he said Canadian teams.
Oh, Canadian teams. Sorry.
I was going to say Edmonton.
Yeah, in that new building there. Yeah, I'd say
And I'm a Leafs fan saying that. I'm going to say Edmonton.
Rodgers is pretty good.
But
yeah.
Winnipeg's pretty nuts.
Winnipeg is a nice, intimate environment as well, too. That's right. 14,500 fans in there. Yeah, Winnipeg is up there.
Probably
Winnipeg's
those
up
two.
there for
I would say
diehard.
Calgary's there, too, probably. You know, the Western Canadian guys, we like to support our boys.
If we're going to pick one, Winnipeg.
There you go.
Yeah.
How about that?
Okay.
There you go.
I'll answer that when my career's done.
Perfect. Yeah. you have to wait until all the jobs are done.
That's
yeah,
right.
Exactly. Yeah. Cameron, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Guys.
Well, somebody did say, quick, get a VCR. We got to see this tape. So maybe that's the next time you come on. We can set up a little rolling TV VCR.
Clark, you want to do a book giveaway, like a contest for your viewers?
Yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. How do we want to do it? Follow you on Twitter?
We could do something like, I don't know, like name a team, name 3 NHL teams I haven't performed with, or the one Canadian team I haven't performed with.
One Canadian team you haven't.
The one Canadian team in the NHL and the one province I've never performed in.
One province. So I feel like there's only a couple of teams with one province because I feel like you've been to a few places.
You're not in it to win the book, though.
I'm helping the viewers. Okay, this is good. So we got to get our viewers comment in right now. What's the one Canadian team and province that Cameron has not performed in? We'll get the viewers commenting in. Oh, there's two separate answers. Okay, two separate answers. Got it. We'll wait for the comments to come in. Cameron, where can everybody follow you and get your book and support you on your journey to your bucket list of getting to Prince Albert?
You send me. You know what's crazy though, guys? I'll just say I don't know how much time we have, and I don't really care anymore. So, no, I love coming to the small towns in Canada. I'm a Canadian boy. My grandfather was shipped to Middle Saskatchewan when he was 14. I love coming to Canadian towns. I'm so glad to be living in Canada again. So I can't wait to see you, Prince Albert. CameronHughes.tv or at Cameron Cheers.
Okay,
Fantastic.
we got one answer. Chad Isaac says, the province you haven't performed in, I feel like I know this is wrong. Saskatchewan. That's not right? You've performed here lots of times.
Probably top 7 of all time. In
Top
Saskatchewan.
7. And he said that you haven't performed for the Flames.
Let me think about that. No, but I got a good Jerome McGinless story.
Oh,
no, I performed in the Flames a lot.
So the other guess that I was thinking of is, have you performed for the Jets? They're kind of a newer team.
You know what? I did do a game there. They have Project 11, which is a big charity initiative they have. I'm actually going to be going back there this year, and I danced with Dancing Gabe.
Oh, no way. That would have been a huge moment. That would have been an iconic moment in Winnipeg sports history.
Well, you know what's great about that moment? It wasn't planned. Like, we wanted to meet up, but it was not planned. And I don't want to plan anything. You guys, you know that. You get that with me. Just let it happen.
Myron is guessing. One of our viewers, Myron, says, you've never performed in Prince Edward Island?
Incorrect.
Oh, he has performed in Prince Edward.
That was a good guess,
He
though.
said the Oilers, but I know for a fact you just said a minute ago that you have performed for the Oilers.
And there's the jersey
And there's a jersey right behind him.
Lots of stuff for the Oilers. I was actually supposed to be at their home opener. I'll give you a clue. Well, no, you don't need a clue. There's 10 provinces. There's
got to be. Somebody said Vancouver, the Canucks.
Correct.
That's the team.
Okay.
And Newfoundland is his guess for provinces you've never been to.
Oh, so close.
Oh, it's not Newfoundland, but it's close.
Game. And guess what, guys? I'm actually going to perform for the Newfoundland Growlers at some point this year.
Right on.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Solid,
That'll be a good one.
crew over there in Newfoundland, the Newfoundland Growlers.
That won't get weird.
Yeah. Well, Chad Isaac is going to be your winner of your book tonight here. Chad Isaac, you'll be getting, I'll be setting up Chad. He's a good friend of our show, so I'll be setting him up with your information. We'll get that hooked up. Cameron, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You gave us lots of time. Appreciate that.
And New Brunswick, call me. New Brunswick, call me.
Well, there's bound to be a curling event or something going on.
Oh, there's got to be
a
a spiel or two. Yeah.
Got to be.
I don't know, maybe the Memorial Cup.
Why not? Who knows? I have some friends out there in the Maritimes. I'll make some phone calls for you, Cameron. Thanks for joining us tonight, Cameron. Everybody, make sure you go follow everything this guy's doing. He's always a great time. Cameron, we'll chat again soon. We'll do this again.
Thanks a ton, Cameron.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me.
All right. That was, of course, Cameron Hughes, the king of cheer.
So
and you know what, Max? his book matches our new logo. I'll go back to that wide shot.
I was going to say the
his
colors,
book
everything
matches our new logo and everything.
Potential
It's just
partnership.
perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
There we go. It's good stuff.
So, anyways, that was Cameron. Oh man, like, what do you say?
Electric,
Unbelievable.
right? Electric. I think that's one of the descriptors on one of the first pages of the book.
It is right on the front of the book, actually.
Man, it's
unbelievable.
It's amazing the people that we get to connect with. It really is.
Yeah, that's one
Clark.
I have to settle down from because I'm jazzed up. And Chris Untitled is coming on next from RBI, and I'm going to transfer that energy to Chris, and Chris is going to get jazzed up as well. But as always, our video chats are brought to you by IKS Media, IKS Live, the best ticket in town. They can make your events top notch if you get video screens, live entertainment, video production, and a whole lot more. Just hit up iksmedia.com. They can set you up with a ton of different great stuff to make your event the hottest ticket in town. As I mentioned, I teased it hard. Chris Untitled is coming up after the break. You had something to say?
Yeah, real quick. Cameron Hughes talking about superstitions, winning games, all that good stuff. So throughout that interview, Pred scored 2 goals, up 2-1.
Wow.
Oxbow, Saskatchewan native Tanner Janot with his first of the year to put the Preds up 2-1.
Well, there you go. Cameron Hughes. The Predators' lucky charm.
Great luck charm. Not just a good luck charm. Great luck charm.
Great luck charm. All right, Chris Untitled after the break. See you in a couple minutes.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Peterson Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Peterson Show today.
Everyday hoop life.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. IKS Live, the proud producer of The Rod Peterson Show and The Recovery Hour. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Yes, Chris is just saying how our new intro, our new logos and stuff changed up a little bit since you've been here last, Chris. We're going to have to get you some Well, we have some stickers, but we're gonna have to get you some merch when we get our hats.
I do
and
have
our
one
shirts.
of the OG shirts.
Yes, it's
Still
a
wear
collector's
it
item
all the
now.
time. Great
It's
quality.
you're gonna have to frame it at some point.
I will. I'll put it up in our wall.
Yes.
At RBI.
Yes, exactly. That'd be a good
Along
place
with
for
all
it.
the T-shirts and jerseys from all of
Yeah.
our players.
You
I'll
can put
throw
it
up
right
there.
on top of the Monterey
Yeah.
Peninsula one for me.
Yeah, that'll be perfect on top. Yeah.
Chris, welcome back. Chris Untereiner is here from
guys.
RBI Baseball and Softball Training Facility. I think I was.
Yeah,
I missed a word.
we're
in
getting there.
I
No,
missed a
we're
word.
close.
I think I missed one, but
There's
we're
too
doing
many
better.
words.
What? How many did I? Yeah, I missed a couple. Anyways, I got most of the words in there.
The gist of it.
Most of the mix of the words. Anyways, Chris, there's a lot going on with RBI at RBI. Not necessarily all at RBI, but with. That's why I say with.
Yes.
But we'll get to that in a minute. I want your thoughts first off. The Dodgers came back and won tonight against the Braves.
I saw that.
I can't imagine you have to be. Are you cheering for the Braves, or who are you cheering? Are you still a Dodgers guy? Because you're not.
I was
really
a Dodgers guy for one Halloween. Let's get this clear.
That's fair. Yeah.
Sorry, Nick Grimm, but I was always a Giants. I was always a Giants guy
Yep.
when we were down there. The Braves are exciting. The Dodgers are exciting. Everything about this time of year is exciting.
Yes.
I think the Braves are going to be in trouble if the Dodgers win tomorrow night.
Yeah. It's like
because-
back-to-back games here.
Yeah, they play tomorrow night. I think they're going to be in trouble
Yeah.
because when the Dodgers get hot, I mean, realistically, the World Series should have just been Dodgers Giants, and then we just say, hey, that's baseball. Season's over.
Yeah.
But it makes for some excitement at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was pumped to see the Braves come out to a 2-0 start,
Yeah.
but it is the Dodgers. They still have one of the best pitching staffs in the league, and they have some hitters that, like you said, they get hot.
Yeah, I think Bellinger hit 165 this year, and now he's hitting 292, and he's got the highest hard hit average. I was just looking it up before the show
Yeah.
here. The hard hit average in all of baseball right now. I mean, that's an MVP that hit 165, which is unheard of.
Yeah.
He's
Bounce
still,
back
yeah,
candidate.
Bounce back.
One of the things I saw videos all season of Dodgers fans just bashing Cody Bellinger, and now all I've seen the last 2 weeks is clutch. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I saw your colors a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
Dodgers fans.
That's right.
Anyways, so it is 2-1 now. The Dodgers came back and won tonight.
I think Boston's up right now.
Yes, it is 2-1 in the bottom of the fifth, so the Red Sox have a chance to go up 3-1.
I definitely didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are your thoughts? Because the Red Sox have kind of put it to the Astros
Yeah,
a
the
little
Astros
bit.
are giving up like 8 or 9 home runs. I think it was
Couple
8
grand
I counted.
slams.
And yeah, 2 or 3 grand
Not
slams.
what you want. So
Yeah.
Max told me there was a report apparently Astros pitchers are tipping their pitches and the
Oh.
Red Sox are picking up on it. So a little bit of karma maybe from the garbage can days?
Could be, but I mean, the Red Sox are also known for their cheating too.
Yeah.
So
So are we going to let's start the conspiracy theories right now.
Yeah.
What's going on with the Red Sox? Do they
Yeah.
have garbage cans too?
Yeah.
I mean, their whole stadium is a garbage can, let's be real.
that's right.
I mean, it's Fenway. It's historic and everything, but all I've heard is it's terrible.
Yeah, bad views. You're sitting behind poles, but
Yeah.
I guess if you're going to spend $10,000 for a ticket, you might as well.
Might as well. Might as well dive into the history, I
That's
guess if they
right.
call it that.
Yeah,
Sit on a pole, is that what you said?
behind the pole.
Oh, behind a pole. I was like, yeah, I don't want to sit on a pole for 10 grand. That's not for me. But
no.
Max, do what you want to do, my man. This is a whole
another
different
show.
show all of a sudden. Anyways, off-season stuff. We just saw, we're going to talk about this in our next segment. We're going to get into some Blue Jays stuff. Mark Shapiro comes out yesterday, and as fellow Blue Jays fans here in Canada, basically just said, like, we have a renewed sense of dedication to this country and getting a championship to Toronto. That must be encouraging to hear as a guy who, you mold baseball minds, you build baseball squads and teams and culture, especially culture is a big thing at RBI.
Yeah.
That must be extremely reassuring for a team to hear this.
Yeah, not that ownership or anybody really owe the Blue Jays anything. I mean, they were stuck in a situation that they couldn't really get out of, having to play in Florida and then in Buffalo, but you could really see what kind of team they can end up being when they got to Toronto and they got the fans. 91 wins, 1 game out of a wild card. I mean, realistically, they could and should, some argue, be where the Red Sox are right now, because they were just as hot, if not hotter.
Yeah, and they could beat the Rays.
And they could beat the Rays.
So
they showed it.
Yeah.
But you know what? Optimism is obviously where everybody's mind is right now, and I listened to a little bit of the interview. I mean, it was like 45 minutes long, so I just
It was a little long.
bits and pieces. But the gist of it is they're going to have the money to make some things happen. So that's exciting. Whether they go out and, blow their load early, or if they hold on to it a little bit.
We've had much worse things.
Yeah,
exactly.
Optimism is definitely what it comes down to. And one thing that we saw in their playoff push 5 or 6 years ago, the numbers of players that want to play the game in Saskatchewan and in Canada, and obviously in Regina, like we see, it goes
Booms.
up. It goes up with success of sport.
Yeah.
So I mean, you see the Riders do well, football numbers go up. You see the Raptors do well, basketball numbers go up. So the Jays putting on that show that they put on in September, and then that push, and basically doing everything they could, and then just waiting, sitting and watching the scoreboard on the Sunday.
What a terrible day. Oh,
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
hard.
We're going to see the numbers go up in baseball, and obviously that's huge.
There's 3 question marks. 2 of them are bigger than the other one, but Steven Matz is one, Marcus Semion's the other, Robbie Ray. So if you're prioritizing your off season, for fun of it, let's just say you have to pick one of them. Let's take Steven Matz out of the equation. Robbie Ray or Marcus Semien.
Yeah.
You have to pick one. Hopefully they can bring back both, let's say. But if you had to go with one, who would you go with?
I think they've got the offense to back it up already. As much as I love Semien, I think they need that arm.
Robbie Ray.
You need an arm. You need arms, and we saw it. They even with the staff they had, there was still room for more.
The bullpen was a big.
The bullpen
area
was big, and the bullpen's always.
Always.
Any team is their bullpen is a question mark going into the season, even if they're the most confident team. The thing that Semien offered, obviously offensively, he was a hero, but it was his leadership for those younger guys. Like all the younger guys came out saying, like, regardless of what happens with him at the end of the season and going into the off season, like his impact goes way beyond his offensive numbers. And his defensive ability.
It wasn't anything to shake a stick at.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was good.
It was his leadership, his veteran mentality up there, especially with those young rookies, or not rookies, but they kind
I
of feel
always
like
remember
it.
hearing on the broadcast how calm he was. Every situation, he was always the same Marcus
Like
Semien.
he's
He
been there
approached,
before.
he's approached everything the same way. And I think with like you just said, but like the sporadicness and I guess erraticness of Bo Bichette, and how he can be really up and down, high energy guys. For Marcus Semien to go up there and just like casually smash 45 home runs, that seems like it's probably a lesson there for those guys to just be like, you know what, just keep it even keel.
Yep.
And you can never be told that enough. I've learned that in my career and coaching as well. You can never tell guys enough to just stay even keel.
Don't
because
ride the emotional roller coaster.
And especially younger guys, they're full of spit and vinegar, as they say. They can get a little out of hand sometimes. Speaking of younger guys, RBI is popping off right now. You got your all-star stuff going on, and you got your blocks starting up, because fall is usually the busy time for you as players transition from playing to training, off-season mode. So tell me about this All-Star League, because it sounds awesome, and I think you teased it a little bit last time you were here, but now I'm seeing videos of guys that I coached a couple years ago. They're in your league now, on your teams. Caden Coletta being one of them. Shout out Caden. Not a very good player. But I'm kidding.
He was
sort
good.
I heard he had a good weekend.
Yeah.
Tell me about the league and kind of how it's going for you guys.
Yeah, so the CCBL, the Central Canadian Baseball League, was in the works for years, we'll say. Quite a few of the programs had chatted about it, and we talked about it last time I was on the show, and finally this year, Jordan Drager up in Saskatoon took the reins on it and said, Kate, we're going to make it happen. Why wait around? Let's just do it. So we ended up having our 18U varsity, our 18U junior varsity, and then a 15U category in the CCBL. Our programs, RBI, had 4 groups. We had a varsity, a junior varsity, and then we also had 2 15U teams.
Did you split them? Or
We
was
split
it?
them, yeah. So we had an all 2008 and then an all
okay.
2007.
So essentially varsity, junior varsity in
exactly.
a way.
So our 2008s, our grade 8 team, definitely got the tough draw, because we would split games with the teams that the 07s would play.
Okay.
So when the 07s go 10-9 in the fall, and right around 500, which is what you're looking for. You want to compete, but you also want to lose a little bit too.
Sure. There's learning lessons there.
Our 08s saw those same teams. So there was a lot of learning opportunities for the young guys, but it's motivation for the winter and kind of see where you need to get.
Yeah.
But along
Measuring
with the
stick.
league, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Along with the league, we had our all-star, our East versus West all-star game. So there was 5 18U varsity teams.
Yeah.
We essentially split them in half. Each team proposed their all-stars based on positions, based on performance, and then they were voted on by the league. So we had our 7 representatives. We were also teamed up with Winnipeg, who had 7. Going Yard up in Saskatoon split theirs just because there was an odd number. So 4 of their guys went one way, 4 of those guys went the other way.
Yeah.
And then there was also Lloydminster and Edmonton.
Edmonton, yeah.
So yeah, we played a 9-inning ball game. Some of the top baseball players in Central Canada, and
Yeah.
it was a 6-3
Super
game.
cool.
It was
Where'd
took
you guys
2
play?
hours and 15 minutes to finish 9 innings. Like it was just like
real game. Oh,
was
I guess it
awesome.
was quick though. You're saying
it was quick. Like
Yeah.
pitchers throw strikes, defense makes plays. Like
Yeah.
it was unbelievable.
Where did you guys play it?
We were at Cairns Field up in Saskatoon.
Oh, you were in Saskatoon.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So everything, we had all the programs up in Saskatoon this past weekend, and it was like baseball city.
How
It
are
was
the renos
unbelievable.
going there? Because they changed a lot there in the last like 5 years. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say.
so the Gordie Howe Sports Complex is complete, 100,000 square foot facility. We just need somebody to step up in Regina and do the same thing.
Weird.
And sports as a priority.
Nope, never.
Nope.
I'm just gonna say fun things in general as a priority.
Yeah.
Nope, never.
Yeah.
Not here.
We talked about that a few times.
Well, me and Max had a bit of a video that Max, I don't know if you saw the view count on that. It got a little high. Yeah, we ranted about the Red Sox. The city shutting it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
yeah.
Saskatoon.
Saskatoon.
So the Gordie Howe Bowl, the foundation, they upgraded that whole area. They redid the track. They put renovations into the football stadium, the 2 baseball fields. Yeah, it's pretty nice up there.
Oh, look at this. Now Chad Isaac's tuning in. He says, what are Chris's thoughts on the rejection of a new ballpark, but the city does want to have a new indoor pool when the Lawson is still there? I don't know. It's hard to say, right? And then he says, hashtag Clark for city council. So
You got my vote.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
My first priority is just do something with the Dudney Strip, guys. That's all I care about. Just something.
Yep.
Anyways, baseball diamond, indoor training facility. Anyways, what's going on at RBI? Where can everybody find you?
Yep.
Because I know you said your busy time's coming.
Yeah, so we are in a 1-week break.
A break. Yeah.
Personal.
A week off. Yeah.
Just to get everything reorganized. And then next week is the start of our block training. So baseball, softball, everything will be rocking starting either next week or early November.
Yep.
Yeah, we're rolling. We got a few spots available in some of the classes, but yeah, it's right back at it with all of our programs.
We talked of a lot over the last 7 months or so about how you've adjusted
Yes.
To the different protocols and everything. Is everything slowly easing back to what it was, or have you kind of just found a new normal, so to speak?
A new normal. Last year, as you know, as we had to jump through hoops, obviously.
Yeah.
But we found something that a system that actually rolled pretty well, dividing our groups off into different spaces, staggering our times, that we weren't as rushed. Everything was like 60 minutes on the minute.
Yep.
In years past, and then if you run 2 minutes late, then you're running 4 minutes late, then you're running 8 minutes, and then everything's just backed up. So
Yeah.
we've got gaps between programs.
Okay.
It allows us a little bit more flexibility. Instructors and players aren't rushed to get through their programs. We're big on, just because the lesson plan says this many minutes to accomplish this, if we need to spend a little bit more time on something to get to that next point, it allows us that extra 5 or 10 minutes in
Right.
case we go long. Yeah, protocols are in place. We're following all the guidelines that are in place.
Yeah.
We're following the rules.
Perfect.
We have to. We want to keep offering these programs for the kids.
You launched a new website recently.
Yes.
So everybody can find you at
RBItraining.com.
RBItraining.com. Instagram's fire. Facebook
Always.
page.
Deadly.
So follow everybody there. Everybody jump on that and go follow Chris and the crew at RBI. Chris, thanks for coming in tonight.
I appreciate you guys having me out.
Absolutely. At RBI, they rise above the rest. So when we come back, we'll be talking a little bit more baseball because Max, I think, has a rant planned. We're going to go into some Mark Shapiro press conference stuff. It's a celebration, a happy rant. And we'll get to a little NFL talk as well after this break. See you in 2.5 minutes.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Peterson Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Peterson Show today.
Everyday hoop life.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. IKS Live, the proud producer of The Rod Peterson Show and The Recovery Hour. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
So in the commercial break, there's a fruit fly flying around here.
Interesting. You don't have a seltzer.
No, in the commercial break, I cracked one of these because me and Chris started talking about the Regina Red Sox stadium, and I started getting worked up again, Max.
So you needed one.
So I needed a little.
It didn't become a want. It didn't become a want. It became a need.
Yeah, it became a need. An original 16 nightcap. We have a lot to get to because I do want to talk about some Bluebird block stuff. We haven't done this in a couple weeks because the Jays lost. We kind of skipped it for a couple weeks, but we have something to really get into here, and it's exciting. Mark Shapiro, if you guys want to throw the Bluebird block, and this is, I guess, brought to you by RBI as well. Chris Untereiner, shout out to the crew again. But Mark Shapiro comes out. There it is. And kind of it was a year-end press conference, but it was like a delayed year-end
press conference. It's like a State of the Union address before the off-season, which I really appreciated after this year.
It was great.
It's nice to hear from the front office.
And I know that, it's easy to come out and say, yeah, we're committed to winning and stuff, but the way Mark Shapiro came out and said, we're bitter about what happened, and we're even more dedicated now to bring back championship baseball to the city of Toronto and the country of Canada, however he said it in those words. It just got me jazzed up, and I know it got you jazzed up because we texted each other, and we're just like, I said, Max, you need to listen to this. I just started. You need to listen to this. Even the first 5 minutes of it, his opening statement, and then like the first question, man, it got me going. And from all accounts, our takeaways from this, there's a couple of things. Three of the main topics were the payroll. They asked a lot of questions about the payroll. The bullpen issues, And then obviously it kind of worked into not having a home stadium was kind of part of this. The question was like, did the bullpen lose you a few games? And he said, well, there's a lot to it, but there's also the fact that we weren't in Toronto most of the season. We were in 3 different places.
And as a point that Craig Ballard also said, the offense kind of sputtered from the 7th inning on in quite a few of those ball games.
Some big moments, yeah. They have some learning to do there.
It was a team thing.
And then the final thing was Robbie Ray, Marcus Semien, Steven Matz. Those are the 3 questions, basically of guys who they could bring back or let go. They're free agents. So let's go back to the payroll for a sec. Let's sit on this for a minute. They had a payroll. I checked. And this is Spot Rack. We talked about Spot Rack. It's a website. I don't
use it anymore.
It's
you
not
might as well go to
super
Cap
reliable.
Friendly for
might
baseball.
as well go to Yahoo for that.
Go to Cap Friendly for baseball.
For baseball,
contracts.
yeah,
You'll probably
seriously.
find more on there than Spot Rack.
But what they told me was they had a payroll of about $164 million last year, which is 50-ish under the overall spending limit the baseball
to get
sets
to the luxury
itself.
tax, right?
Yeah, 210 I think is that, 215 something like that. So I mean,
where the Dodgers and Yankees spend to.
The Dodgers and Yankees cap, yeah, essentially that's what that is. But they did spend 164. Now where they're sitting as of right now, from my understanding, is about 130. So they still have some money on the books, a lot of money, 130 million. But they are opening up a little bit of space. And the questions to Mark Shapiro were essentially, you've been getting raises in your payroll the last 2-3 seasons. Is there another one coming? And he more or less said, yeah, we're coming.
Oh, yeah.
And Max, you put a hashtag on the press conference video, take notice. And that's the vibe I got.
Yeah.
Is that the vibe you got?
Without a doubt. I think we got to print the T-shirts on that.
Take notice?
A Blue Jays themed T-shirt. Because, I mean, you know what? I think to take away from the press conference as a whole, right, we could break it down into the segments of the payroll and the off-season plan and what's going to be. But the urgency and the conviction behind the entire direction the organization's heading in, right? Regardless of the playoff spot or non-playoff spot, this was a really exciting season.
Yeah.
And you look at Mark Shapiro and his comments, right? The front office wholeheartedly believes and we as a fan base, we know, if they were at Rodgers Center for 81 games, they might have won the division. They really might have. If George Springer wasn't hurt for 80-plus games, they might have won the division. Again, there's a myriad of things that we could break down. I don't want to dwell on the negative because the press conference yesterday really set the tone for what should be an exciting offseason. When it comes to the payroll, though, I'm very excited about what the comments were in terms of Mark Shapiro and the needs that are being identified currently. I watched another interview that he had with Tim McAuliffe. Again, would be a great get. But in spite of that, it's more so I love hearing the fact that there is a plan to keep this team in the Ottawa Senators' terms, an unprecedented, sustainable level of success for the Toronto Blue Jays.
If I can cut you off, because
next longest
I agree 100% with what you said. A couple minutes ago, you used the word urgency, and I was thinking about using that word, but I don't know if it's necessarily a sense of urgency, because to me, urgency almost leads to panic, and I don't know if it's that. I think it's a sense of, like again, you said take notice. Understanding that we're about to wreck some people's days, and we're just starting this. And the quote that I loved, and I think a lot of Jays fans, me particular, we're worried about Robbie Ray, Marcus Semien, those two names specifically. The question that was asked was, do you feel pressure to bring these guys back or something like that? And Shapiro's answer was, I don't ever feel like we need to bring certain guys back. I feel that we need to get better. And to me, I was like, that could mean bringing those guys back and still getting better. That could mean there's other options out there that we're going to swing for. And some names that popped up, and we talked about these ones, Max, but you kind of shut a couple of them down, which is fair. But Carlos Correa is a free agent. And I looked at Carlos Correa as a guy who could maybe be brought in. He's a career shortstop, but he's a big athletic shortstop. Maybe he moves to third base, and then you have Bichette and Correa, just like the Yankees had Jeter and Alex Rodriguez back in the day. They won a championship.
They also had 9 other guys making $25+ million on that
Right.
team,
So bring Marcus Semien back too, and then you got those 9 guys.
Okay. So we're just gonna sign everybody.
Might as well.
We're just gonna Okay.
But I think the idea is that, so if you had 164, I think they've been getting between 10 to 15% increases on their payroll. So you're probably looking at 180 to 185. That's probably going to be the top end that the Jays ownership is willing to go for. So that leaves you with about 50 million, which sounds like a lot, but in baseball, that's
It gets eaten up
that's
pretty
three
quick.
players. It could be 3 players. It could be 2. If you get a couple George Springers, that's 2. But there'd be good players. But if you're looking at Robbie Ray, if you're looking at Semyon, those guys are probably, and Craig Ballard said this, Robbie Ray's probably somewhere between 20 and 25. Semyon's probably at least that, maybe even more, depending on, he just set a freaking all-time record. All-time. Baseball. All-time. For second base.
He doesn't even need an agent this offseason.
No, he can just write a check, a blank check, basically. So it's just an exciting offseason, and I think that was the takeaway that you and I both got.
Without a doubt.
There's a renewed sense of excitement, a renewed sense of dedication, and a renewed sense of confidence, I feel like, in his words.
It's a very good way to put it.
Appreciate that. That was, I think that's all I wanted to cover. Just let me double check the script here really quick. Yep, more or less.
We'll put together our mock. If we were Team Shatkins,
Yeah, what would we do?
What would we do? I think there's some very interesting and appealing options that if we go beyond the box score on it, there's some very interesting moves that this baseball team could make to improve on the 91 win season that they just had. And again, it's just so exciting on all fronts.
Yeah, and before we go, some of the holes, quote unquote holes that the Jays have, third base is a question. But like you said earlier, what if Santiago Espinal is your full-time third baseman? Would
I
you
don't
hate
think
that?
Craig Ballard would have a problem with that. However, he is a heavy advocate for Jose Ramirez in acquiring him.
And if you could put Correa at third base, in a perfect world, everything works out great.
Correa's not coming to Toronto.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
His buddy George Springer's
So here's my only retort on that.
Yeah.
We saw it with Marcus Semien last year. He signed a 1-year, $18 million deal to play a new position at second base, but not a forward one. It's still middle infield.
More or less.
Are you really wanting to pay Carlos Correa the $22 to $25 million annually to switch positions? Or do you dive into the prospect cupboard in addition to maybe a contract like a Randall Grichuk and use that as the foundation of a building block towards acquiring a Jose Ramirez who is a third baseman? Again, there's a lot of ifs and buts to this equation. All the different moves that we could make.
Yeah,
let's just say it could be a video game type of offseason for the Toronto Blue Jays, and I'm very excited about that.
Maybe we'll make our dream offseason scenarios as a segment maybe next week or 2 weeks from now. But we'll definitely do that. There's a lot to get to. But I think you said it before the show. If you're going to spend $25 million to bring in a guy, why not just keep Marcus Semien?
Exactly.
He's already proven he can do it.
You know what he's going to bring.
The team loves him. He seems to like the team.
One of the hardest working guys in baseball that you've now seen for a year.
Exactly.
We'll see what and again, whatever the contract is, it's going to be big.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear no overreactions. I just want to hear jubilation and excitement. It's Whoville at Christmas time if the Blue Jays get Marcus Semien. Meme it.
Exactly. I like it. Meme it.
Got it.
So, yeah, it's exciting. That was the Bluebird Block brought to you by RBI Baseball. Again, we just had Chris in here. Make sure you check out their website, Instagram, Facebook, all the places. And
all the stuff and the things.
All the stuff and the things. Also wanted to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Hoop Life Basketball. Yes. Actually, it's a funny story. Chris said he drove around by their new building because it's just a few blocks away. And he said, "Oh my gosh, it's nice." So
talk about take notice.
Yeah, take notice. Hoop Life Basketball is coming.
Big things.
HoopLifeBasketball.com. And Director Jordan almost every day is like, "Oh man, I have this idea for your show if you guys do one at Hoop Life." And I'm like, "Jordan, we haven't even nailed down that their building's getting done soon." And he's like, "Yeah, but I have all these ideas."
Oh,
and
it's coming. I spoke with Andrew today.
I'm excited for Jordan.
It's coming.
Because Jordan's looking forward to this, I think, more than anybody.
Absolutely.
So anyways, we're having fun with it. It's exciting stuff. Let's get to our squad select. I had a 5-0 week, everybody. Yes. Doesn't happen often. I'm pretty pumped about it.
3 weeks in a row with the first overall pick, and you got a 5-0
yeah,
week. Congratulations.
I finally did it. I won the battle game, and I won all 4 of my other ones. Max went 3-2, so I didn't gain that much ground, but I did gain a little bit, and every couple of games matters in this frickin' competition.
Can you call it a competition anymore?
Well, I mean, you've ran my show a couple of times, but either way, I think I'm only like a game or 2 down on you now.
I think so, yeah.
So
Again,
it's
early. It's early. There's a lot of picks yet to be made.
So we're going into week 7. Our battle game this week, Max gets first pick. So our battle game this week is the Chiefs and the...
hold on one sec. Graphics department, if you don't mind, Rolf, you can now take the Nashville Predators off of that graphic.
They won?
As they secured.
There it is.
Victory.
Don't do it, Rolf.
You could do it though, Rolf. It's fine. Anyways, just very excited about that. Let's go, Preds.
Not
Good
bad
stuff. Matt Duchene with a beautiful one. Tanner Jeannot with
That's
a
good.
beautiful
Tanner
goal.
Jeannot, and he wrecked Drew Doughty
Oh,
too.
he wrecked Drew Doughty. You want to talk about running shows? I love Drew Doughty. I really do. But Oxbow, Saskatchewan.
Good
native,
one, Tanner.
Tanner Jeannot, friend of the show.
Yeah.
Just coming out like
I hope Jordan and
a
Rolf got my
wrecking
reference
ball.
there. Did you guys get my reference? You got it. Good.
Nice. Nailed it.
Oh, good one, Tanner. It's a Rick Regan thing from upstairs on the Rod Peterson show. Our battle game is the Chiefs and Titans. Max, you have first overall pick in the Week 7 squad select draft. Who are you going with?
This is a tough one. Defense, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. This is one of those ones where
Do you want me to mark it
traditionally you're
down?
like, hammer the over.
Yeah.
Whatever the over is, just hammer it. Put the house on it. Actually, don't.
Put the house on
Gamble responsibly.
Yes.
But
Don't do that.
what I'm saying is maybe that's a script flipper. Maybe this is like a 20-17 random football game. I don't really know who it's in favor of. This is a tough one. The Titans, they put on a show last night in their home barn. I gotta stick with Patty Mahomes though.
Oh, you're doing the battle
gonna-
game now.
Oh yeah.
Well, the battle games usually last because you get first
that's
pick.
fine.
So
I get first pick.
You don't
and the
get
battle
first
game.
pick very often, so I understand.
Well, exactly. I know. I'm not
usually
used
the
to how
one-
this process works.
Yeah. So battle game is last because you got to pick your first game first, and then you get first pick in the battle game.
Well, it
if you want to
doesn't
do it the
really
other way
much matter
around,
the
just
order. I'm
whatever.
gonna
Do it the other way
still get it,
around.
right?
Do it the other way around. Fine. What do
Oh,
I
wait,
care?
now I don't get my first. You know what? That's fine. That's my pick at the end. So my first actual overall.
You're going with the Chiefs, is what you're saying.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs for the
Okay,
battle
let me just
game,
write that
yeah.
down here.
So that's the end. But I do get first overall pick, correct?
Yeah, you're going. Yeah, you get first game.
Again, I don't know how this works all the time, people. This
I know,
is
it's
foreign
weird.
territory.
I'm
to
usually
me.
doing this first.
I don't quite understand. Oh, don't matter. Rams over the Lions.
I
without
figured
a
you might
doubt.
go with your boys.
Jared Goff coming home though. That's going to be a very interesting one. Sean McVay came out with some comments this week saying how he wished he would have handled the communication of the Jared Goff trade a little bit better. And you know what? That's fair. At the end of the day, Jared Goff, he did some very good things for the Los Angeles Rams. First overall pick in 2016. They gave up a lot to get him to be the franchise guy. And hey, he got us to a Super Bowl, albeit it was kind of on the heels of one of the most infamous non-calls in NFL history. But with that being said, he still got us there, didn't quite get the ring, and it's unfortunate to see that his start with the Lions isn't going as great as I think many hoped it would be. But Matty Stafford, Staff Daddy, print the T-shirts, that's the guy.
I am going to go.
He's going well.
I'm going to go with for my first game. I'm going with the 6-0 Arizona Cardinals over the Houston Texans. I think
game.
the matchup speaks for itself.
Davis Mills is going to come to run your show.
Hey, I picked the Colts last week over the Texans, and the Texans performed admirably in my favor and sucked. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals being able to do the same thing against the Texans and go Kyler Murray. So the Cardinals are my first pick.
Go Kyler Murray. Hey, well, you know what? I'm looking at this board here. There's not a ton of confidence in it.
It's an interesting week.
It's a very interesting.
There's a few
week.
winning teams with bye weeks right now.
Yeah.
Chargers, Cowboys, Bills, Steelers and Vikings even are teams that win games. But there's a few big teams that are on bye weeks.
When I look at the board, we talked about them hot and they're cold. They're yes, then they're no. They're in and they're out. They're up and they're down. I listened to that song about 46,000 times when putting together that meme this weekend.
It's a good tune, Katy Perry.
I don't know. It's lost its luster for me after
When Katy
doing
Perry
that.
gets involved, you know good things are happening.
It's very good things
Left
on that
shark.
respect. Absolutely. But it's Tom Brady's Buccaneers over the Chicago Bears. Do I need to say any more?
No.
You said that emphatically.
No, don't say anymore.
Fine.
I'm going to go with my boy, speaking of hot and cold,
Matty Ryan,
who beaten the Bears. No, he beat the Bears. We put him in the graphic, the Katy Perry graphic. Aaron Rodgers. They're playing my loathed Washington football team. So I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, at home over the Washington football team this week. I'm going with the Packers.
Any particular reason why? I'll let you say
I just hate the Washington football team, and Packers are rolling. They're doing pretty good right now.
Okay, sounds good.
Is there another reason that should be happening?
I don't know. I just thought you were going to name some players and give some hot stats and stuff.
Nope. It's
No?
pretty basic.
That's it.
It's late. It's almost 9 o'clock, so I'm trying to also end the show.
Oh, you're trying to end the show. Okay, got you. Jets over Patriots. Mac Jones is going to win the war between the rookie quarterbacks.
You're taking the Jets over the
No,
Pats?
sorry. Patriots over Jets. I said Mac Jones. Sorry, Mac Jones. I misspoke. I said Mac Jones, though, which meant I was talking about the Patriots.
Yeah.
I had the names right
Okay.
of the players,
You
not
didn't
the
take your
teams.
finger off the button yet.
I didn't
so.
take. Yeah, exactly. I didn't lay the Scrabble tile, as it were.
Okay, I'll take that. I was going to be
sorry.
like, wow, Max, that is a
Nope.
pick. The Jets over the Patriots.
Pick not laid, pick now made.
In Foxborough?
It's the Pats over the Jets.
All right.
That's what's happening.
So I was leaning towards the Carolina Panthers, but Christian McCaffrey's out. And I mean, they still probably, it's the Giants. There's still a pretty good chance. But I've seen a couple other teams on this list, and I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm going to go for this one. But I'm going to go with the Raiders over the Eagles.
Raiders.
The Vegas Raiders, they got the Eagles at home tonight, this weekend. The Raiders are at home. So I'm going to take that one. The Eagles haven't been doing great this season so far.
Jalen Hurts puts up a lot of fantasy points. You can count on 20 fantasy
He
points
does do
every week
that,
from
but
him.
at the same time, they're 2-4. So I'm
true.
going to
It's
go
true.
on-field success versus a fantasy quarterback. What about you, Max? What's next? You got one more pick,
I have one more pick.
and then I got one more pick. Yeah.
Well, in that case, I will take
Who are you going with?
the Ravens over the Bengals.
Ravens over the Bengals.
Sorry, Chad.
The 4-2 Bengals.
It's got to be Lamar. He's been unstoppable. And that Ravens D is actually starting to look somewhat respectable. I know the Bengals D, much has been lauded. Very good team. Starting to get there. I don't know. You got to beat Lamar. Hey, you know what? This is the prove-it game for the Bengals. If Joe Burrow goes out and beats Lamar, all right, the Bengals are for real.
I picked the Bengals to win last week, and they did me proud. I was proud
you
of the
proud.
Bengals last week.
Every time I
so
bet against them, they've also done me proud.
Go Bengals. Chad, I'm cheering for the Bengals again this week. So I guess for the last game, I mean, I think I have to do it. I'm going to go with my boys, the Falcons, over the Dolphins. I'm going to go Falcons over Dolphins. And just put up the prayers.
Tua and Jalen Waddle going to run your show. Sorry.
Probably. Tua is back, so that is a thing. But I'm going to go with it.
Tua's back. So
I'm gonna go with
that is
it.
a thing. That's a name. It's a name. It's
Yeah.
a thing.
Did you put this Leafs and Rangers graphic on here?
No, I didn't. What is it? Let's see it.
I don't know how they got this
Flip the
graphic,
screen.
but this is a really good graphic.
Flip the
Do you have the
screen.
graphic to put up on the screen? Or did you just put it on my script to mess with my mind?
I love it. Rolf, keep doing it. Whatever it is. I can't even see it. I don't know what it is.
So I don't know what graphic this is. You won't even know what it is. It's just a chart. But it's Leafs versus Rangers. And the Leafs have like all of the charts. I'm not quite sure. There it is. This is the graphic. So I don't really know what this is referring to because this is from 3 years ago. So I think there was definitely they were going for something with this, but I think they swung and missed. But the bottom is what. No, you can put it back up. The bottom, there's a quote at the bottom.
There's a quote at the bottom. Okay.
There it is. With stats like these, how the F can't they win a game? So I think this is referring to the Leafs and Rangers the other night, and it was an unbelievable game. The Leafs
Are
dominated.
you sliding these into the pre-production meetings before I
didn't do
get
this.
here in
This
the
is-
afternoon so that you can just talk about the Leafs?
This is the
on,
masterminds in
man.
the back bringing it up because they love chirping me. It was
It is
all
great.
Rolf.
It is great, you guys. You know what? You just keep doing that.
Rolf loves the
I like
chirps. So anyways, no, the Leafs, they
suck.
unbelievable
What?
game against the Rangers. I'm talking about the game itself. It was a great game. Overtime was crazy good. One of the better overtimes I've seen. And the
Very
Leafs
happy I
lost.
took the Rangers in that game.
Leafs
by the
lost.
way.
You made some money.
I made some money.
So there it is. We're
it
going to
all
wrap this
tonight.
one up, I think. We finished Squad Select. We're all done. And, yeah, tomorrow on the Rod Peterson Show, we're going a hockey-heavy show.
Hockey heavy.
We got Jason Greger from TSN Edmonton joining the show.
Right on.
As well as Winnipeg Jets color analyst Jamie Thomas. Jamie Thomas is also in Ultimate Franchise Fantasy Sports. He's the football scout for that entire organization.
Guy that does it all.
We should get Jamie on this show.
For
He's
sure.
on my list. Next week on the SquadCast, stay tuned. But the next week after that, this is an exciting one. If you don't know the name, you will. He is coming up fast in the sports media industry. Julian McKenzie. I'd like to tell you what this guy's involved in, but it's so
It's
much.
everything.
Yahoo Sports. He's got a podcast going on with Yahoo Sports. He just launched the Chris Johnston Show, which is the Steve Dangle Podcast Network.
Mm-hmm.
They just launched a show. He's the host of it with Chris Johnston. He's on TSN Montreal sometimes. He's all over the place. Julian McKenzie, I'm really excited for this
He's a
one.
Julian of all trades, as it were.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. We'll go
Nailed
with
it.
that. Nailed it. We'll probably talk Montreal Canadiens, but he can talk like Max said. He's
I'm
a
very excited.
He's a Julian of all trades.
This was one of those ones where it's like, hey, you know what? You put the scouting report together at the beginning of the month and say, you know what? Who'd be a great guy to interview? Julian McKenzie.
And we're like I said,
yeah.
we're getting him on his rise because in a couple of years, I don't know if he's going to be a guy who is going to be easily gettable for interviews.
Absolutely.
He's so busy with so much. So I'm
Very
pumped that he's
excited
joining
about
us.
it. Very excited.
So
Good
stay
get,
tuned
Clark.
for
Good
that.
get.
Thank you. But from the basement of the bunker, we are signing off just before 8:55.
That's not bad.
I don't know what the over was. I think we hit the over.
857.
Yeah.
Setting it
I'm
right
producer
now.
Clark. Mad Max is over here. Max Ritz. Now, Max, just before we go, some people think your last name is Ritzy. Can you put this to bed? What's your last name?
Oh, some people think my last name is Ritzy. That's my nickname.
It's
Ritz
your
is my
Twitter
nickname,
handle. Because I somebody said on my somewhere the other day that like Max Ritzy is going to
No,
be
because
upset
you know,
about
like
this.
we talk about, like, you know, hockey nicknames growing up, right? It's
Oh,
you
yeah.
always slap a Y on it,
Yep.
right? Like it's, I don't know. It's I'm trying to think. Oh, actually, there's not like there's Marnsey. Or is it Marns?
No, I get Ritzy
Like,
makes sense as
anyways.
a nickname.
No, my
but
last name is Ritz, like the cracker.
Ritz.
You know,
Like the
just
cracker.
check your box at your local grocery store. You'll have
It's
it.
like
but-
his last name is the solo version. Ritzy is the nickname extended
yeah,
version.
no, it's like pass me the puck, Ritzy, or make
Yeah.
that meme, Ritzy, or
Well, that makes
you know,
sense.
all those types
Nailed
of
it.
things. Yeah.
I think it was actually Uncle Robin or somebody who watches this show normally. They said something about Max is going to be upset. I think it was Predators related.
Probably. I'm usually.
Either way, director Jordan and engineer Rolf are in the back, and Leafs chirper Rolf, I should say,
I
is in
love
the
it,
back.
Rolf. This wasn't part of the job description, but you have made it your own, good sir. I love it.
He's getting a brand.
It's nice to have an ally.
He's growing his brand.
Yes, sir.
Plus our friends at Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions, IKS Media, Hoop Life Basketball, Chris and crew at RBI Baseball, Original 16, Great Western Brewery. I got my Great Western Brewing Original 16 Canadian Pale Ale tonight. Max is still on break.
On the
so
cleanse.
to speak. On Tuesdays you have a break, but I feel like there's other days you're off your break.
It depends.
You jump on and off the wagon pretty easily, is what I'm saying, Max.
Yeah, during the week I try to, just keep an even keel.
Fair enough.
What's that? It's like the post game interview. It's just, you know what? Just try to go and execute 100%.
100%. Pucks in deep.
Monday to Friday, pucks in deep.
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday. Well,
you
it's
gotta
not
let loose with the
technically
boys.
part of the week. It's the weekend.
There you
but
go.
I don't know. I try.
Anyways, we will see you next week here at this time. Are we going to do a weekend show this week?
No.
No weekend show.
No weekend show. There's some things going on, unfortunately, that are going to require my attention. But I will say this as we kind of tease what may be coming up in the next few months. We'll have a chat about that. But as of right now, no. It unfortunately we'll watch hockey on Saturday. We'll watch football on Sunday, and we will join the fanalists. And
I'll
take
be doing a
weekend off.
TikTok live stream this weekend.
I
for
will
the
not
Leafs
be.
game. So, well, he can't because you don't have enough followers. But
Well,
follow me
it's-
on TikTok.
is what it is.
I'll see you on
Busy
TikTok
making
live.
memes. Love
and,
y'all. Take care.
1 week from now, we'll see you right back here. Bye for now.
See ya.